collections, take charge at that time.
Okay.
You have the right to validate these debts. Number one, and I'm telling you these things, anybody will tell you, oh, well, you have to pay this. It is the creditor's responsibility to prove that this debt belongs to you. You have to take the initiative and control. The burden of proof has to lie with them. They have to prove to you that this is accurate information. The less you say, the better. You go to these, you write them. You tell them, number one, do not contact me by mail. Contact me by phone, mail only.
Okay.
I don't want any phone calls to my employer. I don't want any phone calls to my home. All correspondence should be done by mail only. When they give you that disclosure, this is an attempt to collect the debt. It is a disclosure that they're giving because every single thing that you say will be used to validate that debt.
So the customer gets the letter that they're going to go into collections. First thing they should do is write the merchant back and say, or the credit card company or whoever it is that says, no calls to my house, no calls to my employer. Everything you do is in writing via the mail.
Right. You do it via mail. And the way you're going to start that particular letter out is you want to ask for your signed origination paperwork. Okay. Signed origination paperwork, not a statement from your database, not a printout from your database. You want signed origination documentation. Then you also want to know that they have the right to actually collect the debt in your state. There are laws put in place for collection agencies, and even if it's an individual company that is collecting, these people still have to abide by the law that states they are doing things the proper way. A collection agent, anyone that's calling you to collect the debt cannot curse you. They can't speak to you out of tone. If you ask them to stop calling, they will probably tell you, oh, well, you have to put it in writing. No, the laws are very clear. If you ask them not to contact you by phone any longer, if they say, hi, is this Lachelle? Who is calling? That's the first thing I ask. Who's calling? Don't respond and say yes. Don't give them any information. You write the letter. You tell them you want the signed origination paperwork. So you can verify your own signature to know that this is actually what you signed and these are the terms and conditions that you actually agreed to. Once you've done that, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of your battle because you are really getting ready to battle when you ask for that information. And I tell you, 90% of the time, they will not send you that information back. And they don't have to. But if they don't send it within the amount of time and the credit bureau sends you something back and says that the debt has been validated, you then you write a letter to the credit bureau and you ask them, give them 15 days to validate that debt. Tell me what process you used to validate the debt. Who did you talk to? What company did you use? You will almost always find through a reinvestigation that the debt will come back deleted. And it's because these companies are not abiding by the rules that are put in place. There's no one there to regulate them. And what really bothers me the most is there's no one there to regulate these credit bureaus who are, privately owned businesses. Mm-hmm. There's no one there to regulate them. Federal Trade Commission have put rules in place. Anyone that knows anything about our country, as things happen, and if they see that a law is needed, then they will put a law in place. These people were not being monitored properly. They were doing the consumers, you and I, any way that they wanted to. Mm-hmm. And we have been basically funding their attack on innocent American people, and it's not just America because these companies are used all over the world. Right. But they're preying on innocent people and they're taking advantage of their circumstances and their lack of knowledge. Credit is so valuable. And if you don't educate yourself now, so then you can educate your children as they grow up. Right. Because we need to actually stop allowing ourselves to get into the ruts that we get in. Because a lot of our problems are basically, they're self-created. Mm-hmm. These are self-inflicted wounds that we've created for ourselves. I think what we need to understand is your credit is something that you need to monitor as often as possible. There are credit alert monitoring companies out there. Now, I'm not telling you to go to, freecreditreport.com or anything like that. There are companies out there that are individually owned companies. Don't fund the war against yourself. When you're going out and you're using these companies, look and see who actually are over top of these companies. A lot of these alert companies are owned by the credit bureaus.
Okay.
They're getting money from you. You're funding the war against yourself. Hold these companies accountable. Make them do what they're supposed to do for you. Don't work against yourself. You would never go and buy another country guns and give them to them so they can use them against you in a war. Don't fund the battle for these companies. You go out, start going back to using your mom and pop shop. Small businesses. Support small businesses because they actually appreciate your business. Go back out, start using cash for purchases as opposed to credit, because every time you use credit, you're paying the bank's interest. This is how they're making their money off of you. We've given enough money to the banks. We've bailed them out already.
Yeah, we've given them a little more lately.
Let's just be realistic. We've given them enough bailouts, and we can thank all of Washington for that, Democrats and Republicans alike. One party starts it and we just continue. They really have bipartisan methods on that. They want to keep giving our money away.
They've proven they weren't very good stewards of our money too, aren't they? So why give them more?
Right. And why should we continue on funding these businesses that are actually hurting us? A lot of people, right now the economy is down. We have people that are looking for jobs. Today, they are using your credit score to actually weed out people that may have the highest qualifications, but they're being weeded out because the credit bureau is reporting something. And who knows if it's accurate or not? Who knows if you're actually paying what you're supposed to pay?
Right.
Take charge, contest it. In the book, I actually show you step by step. I give you sample letters. You don't have to use that exact verbiage, but use the verbiage that's similar, because the main thing is you want to be honest in all cases. Go through